Walmart, a company of 1.4 million people employed in the U.S., heads to the Supreme Court tomorrow, brought there by 6 women who say they were subjected to years of sex discrimination, passed over for promotions, paid less than men, and arguing if it happened to them, it hurt as many as hundreds of thousands of other women.
I'm rocking the whole company, and I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for every woman who's afraid to do it for herself.
Christine is one of the lead plaintiffs in the case against Walmart, and she's accusing the company of discriminating against her and against perhaps as many as 1.5 million other women, former and current employees. It was an old boy culture, she says, and an old boy network for pay and promotions.
I asked about why the males were making more money. It was basically, I was told that they had a family to support. At the time, I was a single mom with 2 kids.
Other allegations in the case: some local managers held business meetings at Hooters restaurants, and women were referred to as Little Janie Q's by some senior management. But is all that, if it's true, really typical for all women working at Walmart? That's what the Supreme Court will try to answer in this case. Among other statistics, plaintiffs' lawyers have presented evidence that women make up more than 70% of Walmart's hourly workforce, but just 1/3 of store managers. But Walmart denies it discriminates against women. Cases like Christine's are isolated cases, the company argues, and so a gigantic class action like this one makes no legal sense or common sense.
19-year-old Reshma Banu stares at the tiny screen on her cell phone. This is the only place she can see her baby girl alive and well. 3-month-old Afreen died in the hospital with cigarette burns, bites, and a dislocated neck. Police say her own father killed her. Why? Because Afreen happened to be born a girl. After my delivery, my husband had come to see me and the baby. After seeing the child, he said, "It's a girl? Why did you give birth to a girl?" she says. He wanted a boy, an heir. Reshma was devastated when she was given this ultimatum by her husband. As brutal and shocking as this case may be, getting rid of babies just because they're girls is nothing new here in India, and many times it's done long before the child is born. How? Sex-selective abortions. India has a growing gap between the number of girls and the number of boys. The 2011 census showed for every 1,000 boys, there were only 914 girls. The gap was smaller 10 years ago. UNICEF has said India is the most dangerous place to be a girl.
China women who pursue doctoral degrees are looked at very differently from women who don't. Many say women should not get so much education because it will be hard for them to find a match. What's more, female PhDs have a bad reputation for being late into the dating game as research takes away their beauty and youth. Channel C is going to explore and break down these myths of female PhDs.
As a Chinese student specifically, other than those academic challenges and sometimes even physical challenges, that probably there's also other layers of pressure of being a female PhD student in Chinese society. And let's talk about that. What are this extra layer of pressure coming from?
I think it's partly from family or partly from the mass media, that people think of female PhD as something that's really different from the rest of the world. There may be the idea that, first of all, females are not supposed to get PhD, and when they do, they become this certain type of people that we don't know how to handle them.
Yeah, the pressure is coming from everywhere, like family and friends and also like the peers in my life, because all of them are wondering about how should I do with my personal life, because we have to devote a lot of time to academic. And it sounds like there are lots of comments online that's talking about the girls with PhD degrees as well, and let's take a look at these. So the first one is saying there are 3 kinds of people in the world: men, women, and women with PhD degrees. And then there's also a comment from this Guangdong CPP member who's saying that a girl is like a product. Now he's been selling herself for 20-some years, but still haven't sold themselves. So from the perspective of marriage, getting a PhD degree is not increasing their value, but decreasing their value. So maybe from the other way around,
knowing there are such pressures in China of being this female PhD student, does that make it easier for you to actually pursue a PhD degree here so that you don't need to face all those kind of pressures?
Probably, yeah. I think, well, there are many reasons why I come to this country for my PhD degree, but one of them among all is that I don't need to care too much about what others think. And then no one here will be saying that you shouldn't get a PhD because you are a girl.